Jedi.
24!
The art of marksmanship is a necessity for any hired killer, but these two assassins take it to a whole new level. Deadshot, the sharpshooting member of the Suicide Squad, and Bullseye, the man who never misses. For this matchup, we will be examining these characters as they appear in their respective sources of media. For Deadshot, we will be examining him as he appears in the DCEU's Suicide Squad from 2016. For Bullseye, we will be examining him as he appears in the Daredevil movie from 2003. I will be examining each character's physicality, combat prowess, arsenal, and intellect. I will then pit them against each other in a theoretical battle to see who will win. So without any delay, let's begin!
Round 1.
Physicality. As a former member of the US Special Forces, Floyd Lawton is in peak human physical condition. He's strong enough to resist multiple Argus soldiers, and even tough enough to take a brutal beating from them. He was even able to take a hit from the superhuman Incubus, though this was most likely due to his body armor. He is a master marksman with any number of firearms, even being lethal at 4,000 meters. He was able to shoot the same target in the same spot numerous times with different types of firearms, took out eyes of the adversary faster than trained soldiers could, made an explosive go off by shooting it mid-air, and ricocheted a bullet to get a headshot on his target. Deadshot is a tough and highly accurate hitman. As an active assassin, Bullseye is in peak human condition. He's strong enough to throw other people around and even lift a full-grown woman up with just one hand, is fast enough to disappear from the scene of his assassinations, is agile enough to stand on top of a moving motorcycle, jump onto another building roof, scale a church organ, balance on a fallen pipe, and lift his own body weight up on a glass pane. His reflexes are great enough that he could catch a thrown sigh with just one hand. In keeping with his namesake, Bullseye is a master marksman. He claims to have never missed, shown by him always hitting his intended target or targets, even when riding on a motorcycle or ricocheting his throw. Even hitting something as small as an olive on a fork, or even a fly while in critical condition. The only person he couldn't hit was Daredevil, due to his radar sense. This ability extends to the point that anything he throws becomes a deadly projectile weapon. He is able to throw shurikens, paper clips, a pen, pencils, glass shards, an offering dish, a playing card, Daredevil's billy club, Elektra's sigh, a syringe, and even a peanut. Bullseye definitely earns his title as the man who never misses. While Deadshot does have the durability advantage, Bullseye is stronger, faster, and more agile. Though what this round mostly comes down to is their marksmanship. And in this regard, both of them are equals in their own right. Deadshot with his firearms mastery, and Bullseye with thrown objects. So while Bullseye is lighter on his feet and has a slightly better strength advantage, Deadshot can take whatever's thrown his way. This round's a tie.
Round 2.
Martial arts skills. Being trained by Special Forces, Deadshot is an expert hand-to-hand combatant. He seems to be proficient in combat shooting, boxing, Muay Thai, and Jiu-Jitsu. He was able to fight the eyes of the adversary, fought the Enchantress alongside the Suicide Squad, and was able to briefly fight Batman, but he was easily defeated. Despite his reliance on firearms, Deadshot is a capable combatant. As a professional assassin, Bullseye is a master martial artist. He seems to be trained in Shuriken Jutsu, boxing, karate, Krav Maga, Wing Chun, and Taekwondo. He was able to defeat Elektra in hand-to-hand combat and even kill her with her own sai. He was able to fight against Daredevil, though required his marksmanship along with dirty tactics to gain the upper hand on his foe, and it's also worth mentioning that Daredevil was still wounded at the time. Bullseye may be known for his accuracy, but he's also a highly skilled fighter. While Deadshot has proven to be a highly capable fighter, he is outclassed by the more skilled Bullseye, who has a better winning streak in close quarters fights than his opponent, who's lost to other fighters who aren't cannon fodder. Point goes to Bullseye.
Round 3.
Weapons and armor. As a sharpshooting gun for hire, Deadshot carries a variety of firearms and modern tech with him at all times. His main firearm of choice is his customized AR-15 assault rifle, which comes with a scope and a vertical hand grip. His sidearm is a custom Glock 17 with a flared magwell, compensator, and a red dot sight. On the back of his suit's belt, he carries two Glock 18 fully automatic handguns, though his most iconic weapons are his wrist magnums, which can be fired semi-automatic or fully automatic. They are even durable enough to block sword strikes from the Enchantress and still remain operational. And while he carries a tactical knife on his boot, he's never seen using it in combat. He wears a bulletproof combat suit, which is durable enough to tank an attack from the superhuman Incubus. He also wears a mask with a high-tech eyepiece that can zoom in and out of his target, as well as provide mission and target data. Deadshot carries the necessary arsenal for a master marksman. Despite being an assassin, Bullseye doesn't carry conventional weapons, mainly due to his special throwing skills. He carries a belt which houses multiple shurikens inside a compartment within his belt buckle. After some research, I found that he carries 5 shurikens in his belt before running out. He also carries 5 paper clips, a ballpoint pen, and an Ace of Spades playing card. He also wears an alligator leather duster coat, which he can actually use in combat to deflect an opponent's attacks, distract them, and even stun them. Bullseye may not carry many weapons, but when anything you throw becomes a deadly projectile, you don't really need much to begin with. Bullseye's unconventional arsenal can catch his foe off guard, along with his ability to throw anything he finds as a deadly projectile weapon. But Deadshot has more firepower on his side, and protective body armor. Point goes to Deadshot.
Round 4.
Intellect. As a professional hitman, Deadshot is an expert tactician. He is able to plan out and prepare his assassinations ahead of time, co-leads the Suicide Squad, and evaded the authorities for years. His combat strategy is to take out his target with one shot. If that fails, he unleashes a barrage of gunfire. If forced into a close quarters fight, he will use basic punches, block lethal attacks with his wrist guns, and sometimes grapple an opponent to finish them off with a gunshot. While he is a sociopath, this doesn't seem to negatively affect his combat prowess in any way. Deadshot is a precise and straightforward contract killer. As a hired hitman, Bullseye is a clever individual. He is able to use any object as a throwing weapon, intercepted Nicholas Nachios in his limo, stole Daredevil's billy club while he's being kicked, tracked down Elektra, followed Daredevil to a church, and figured out Daredevil's weakness to overly loud sounds. Bullseye's ability to lethally throw any object gives him a level of proficiency and improvisation with weapons. He used Elektra's side to kill her, used a pipe organ piece to fight Daredevil, and used a broken candelabra as a makeshift spear. His strategy in combat is to kill his opponent with one thrown projectile. However, if they manage to dodge it, he will throw many objects to overwhelm them. If he's in a close quarters situation, he will use his coat to throw off his enemy's attacks and to catch them off guard, making use of wrist grabs, precise punches, and sidekicks. Though being the sadistic, arrogant, and prideful psychopath that he is, he has a tendency to play with his targets before killing them, which could give his opponent the opportunity to catch him off guard. Bullseye is a psychotic yet brilliant improviser when getting his target. Though Bullseye's creativity and improvisational skills are impressive, his arrogance can get the better of him, which is in direct contrast with Deadshot's more level-headed mentality and straightforward combat approach. In summary, one is more tactically versatile, though allows his arrogance to get the better of him, while the other is more mentally stable, but less combatively creative, so they both cancel each other out in certain circumstances. This round is a tie. And now, the verdict. Both assassins are highly skilled marksmen, but only one can get their target. Let's set this fight up. Let's say it takes place on the rooftops of Gotham City. Let the battle begin. 2 assassins are hired by rival mobsters to take the other gangster out. Deadshot takes his sniping position, aiming his assault rifle at his target, though he's disarmed by a shuriken thrown by Bullseye, taunting Deadshot from a distance. Deadshot pulls out his sidearm, though Bullseye manages to duck for cover. Before Deadshot has a chance to open fire, another shuriken knocks the gun out of his hand. Lawton responds by pulling out his automatic pistols. A third shuriken hurls towards him, but he fires a barrage of bullets which knocks the projectile out of the air, Though when Floyd attempts to reload, Bullseye uses the opening to throw his last 2 throwing stars, disarming Lawton again. Bullseye then uses the distraction to throw paper clips into Deadshot's eyepiece, forcing Floyd to have to remove his mask, and leaving him open to a flying kick from Bullseye, knocking him back. Deadshot attempts to aim his wrist magnum, only for Bullseye to throw a pen into the barrel. With his foe distracted, Bullseye closes the distance. Deadshot attempts to shoot his other wrist gun, but Bullseye uses wrist grabs and his trenchcoat stun to prevent a kill shot. Ultimately, Bullseye's faster strikes knock down Lawton. Bullseye continues to taunt and throw his foe against a wall, leaving Deadshot dazed.
You're good. I'll give you that. But me? I'm magic.
Deadshot attempts to aim his wrist gun again, but Bullseye throws his playing card at his neck. With Floyd severely wounded, Bullseye takes Lawton's knife from him, ready to fatally stab him.
Now for my next trick.
But before Bullseye could kill his opponent, Deadshot ricochets a shot from his wrist gun to hit Bullseye's hands.
Oh, my hands! My hands! Show mercy.
In response, Floyd shoots Bullseye in the head, ending the fight, and finishing his contract. I declare Floyd Lawton, Deadshot, the sharpshooter of the Suicide Squad, the winner. Of course, this is all my opinion, but what do you guys think? Who do you think would win this fight? For what reasons? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe to my channel. I'll catch you guys next time.